We are recording now. We're going to start our class. Again, Carlene, if I'm hoping you can hear me. If you can't, we'll help you troubleshoot your issue with Zoom later. Sometimes people have trouble their first time with Zoom, but you'll get used to it. It might just be a setting in Zoom that you have to adjust because you have to allow Zoom permission to use your microphone. Maybe that's what the problem is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. I hope you guys saw my video earlier about how to make your center. It took me probably like 45 minutes to make that rose because I'm fussy anyway with how things look. So I kind of had to re-roll it and roll it again. And the most difficult part in making it, and I'm just going to move my camera over on my webcam, my laptop. I don't even know what I'm saying. The most difficult part about making that center is actually pulling the wire out of your burlap. I don't know if anybody's watched that yet, watched me do it. That's why you need the wired burlap. I'm trying to plug this in here. Here we go. I'm going to mute everybody. Carlene, again, normally I mute everybody at the beginning of class. And if you have a question, you just can unmute yourself. But this just kind of cuts down on the background noise. So again, if you watched my video earlier, here's my rose that I made for the center. And the reason why you need the wired burlap, like I showed in my video, where is it? Is because you're actually going to pull the wire out of the edge of it. And as you're pulling the wire out, your burlap will gather and it'll like ruffle. And that's kind of what you want it to do. But for some reason, this ribbon that I bought, the wire like isn't closed inside. It's not sewn over. It's kind of like sewn to the outside of it. So as I was pulling it, it was starting to come off. And I got this from Hobby Lobby. I don't know why it was doing that. So I kind of had to roll it a couple of times, and I ended up just zip tying it together on the bottom so it would stay together. I think I prefer doing it that way than using glue. Somebody else that I saw made one of these, and she actually sewed it. She stitched it together in a couple of places underneath so it would stay together. So, but that's actually going to go into the center. So you can watch the video and you can make your rose later, and if you've made it already, that's fine. But I did post the video in the events calendar, but I'll also email it to you too when I email you a copy of this video. So let me put this aside for now. And like I was trying to show Cheryl, what I did was, you can use fray check. I guess fray check works well too to keep edges of fabric from fraying. But all I did was I got some of the Mod Podge. It's a water-based sealer glue and finish, and it kind of looks like Elmer's glue when you pour it out. It's white, but it does dry clear. I just put a blob of this on a paper plate. And again, if you have a little paintbrush, you could use that. It's a little time consuming, but it's going to be worth it when you don't have to worry about your burlap fraying. But again, we're not going to be really handling it that much. The petals are easy to make. So once you get it on your wreath, you shouldn't have an issue. If you didn't treat the edges, don't worry. But don't pull any frays. If they start to unravel, cut them instead. But all I did was I took my little roller and I just dipped the very edge into the Mod Podge and just went over just the edges because it does stiffen it a little bit. And it didn't take long to dry at all. So that's what I did with that. Now, move this out of the way. Let me plug in my charger so I don't lose power here. You know what? I may need to. I have my laptop in a different spot now because it was taking up too much room on my table. So I moved it over here. Hopefully this will reach. It'll reach, I think. All these technical difficulties here. Yeah, I don't think that's going to reach there. I'm going to have to. Hold on a minute here. Bear with me. My fancy setup here. I just want to make sure my charger doesn't come out. There we go. Okay. We do need to fill in our center. So I still have an extra piece here left after the deco mesh spring flower that we made. This is a 12-inch wreath form. You can use a 10-inch. I wouldn't recommend using a 14-inch because then your wreath is going to be gigantic. You won't have enough burlap. So let me get my marker. And you can buy these plastic canvas at any craft store in the sewing department. Somebody's chatting me a question. Hold on one second here. Oh, hi, Carlene. I'm here just listening, but I won't be able to stay for the entire video. That's great. I just wanted to make sure that you could hear me because you weren't answering me, so I wasn't sure if you could hear me. You can hear me. That's great. And I'll send you a copy of the video, so that's fine. Okay, Carlene answered. That's good. Let me close this. Okay. So I always buy the bigger pieces. You can actually buy these in rounds to already fit the center, but it's just easier just to buy. This is like $1 for this big piece. So I just go ahead and I trace it. We may not even, you know, the only reason I'm putting this in the middle, because I'm thinking for a second here, this center is really going to fill up my whole center. So I may not even need to use this canvas. Let me think for a second here, because you can see this looks so small in the picture that I posted, but it's big. It fills up this whole center here. So I might not even need to use the canvas, because what I could do, let me think here for a second. What I could do is I could just put some zip ties in the bottom and attach it to my frame that way. I might not want to waste that piece of canvas. Cheryl, what size wreath frame do you have? I know you were asking me about the canvas. Do you have a 12-inch or a 10-inch?
Yes, I have a 12-inch.
Okay. So if you make this rose with 3 yards of burlap, you see how that just fits perfectly in there. And I was thinking it might not fit, and I was going to put more petals in there, which is really why I was going to attach the canvas, but I don't think I'm going to need to attach the canvas. I think, like I said, what I'll do is when I'm done adding my petals, I'll put some zip ties through the bottom and attach it to my wreath frame that way. Or I could attach the canvas and then go through. Yeah, I'm going to put the canvas on anyway. So I think it would be easier for me to attach my middle going through the canvas instead of having to kind of attach zip ties and go on the sides. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather have something firm on the bottom to attach it to. So we're just going to cut our circle. And it only takes a second to attach this to the middle of your wreath form. It doesn't take long at all. I think I'm blurry. Hold on a second here. I'll fix that. It's amazing how I get blurry, or my camera gets blurry, and I'm nowhere near my camera. I'm not touching it. I think it's time for a new camera. Just fix that. So let's just attach the canvas anyway. Just get your zip ties. Now let's just go attach at each crossbar. That's what I think I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm just going to go underneath my flower, my rose center, and attach it right to the plastic canvas. I don't think I'm going to be needing to use it to attach the petals. Now, when I made the spring flower, my center was much smaller than the middle, so I did need to go around. Oh, this is the wrong way. I did need to go around and attach additional petals to the canvas, which is really what the purpose of the canvas is in the middle when you're making a flower, is to attach your flower petals to. So, but just do 2 more. I'm not going to do all 6. I'll just do 2 more. Now, as I mentioned when I was recording the video on how to make the ribbon rose or the burlap rose center, there's actually a video on YouTube by my friend Julie from Julie's Wreath Boutique showing a braided burlap center, which is really, really pretty. She did it for her sunflower wreath, and that's easy to do. That may be easier for you to do than the rose. The rose is easy, but it's just you have to be patient because you have to pull that wire out and you have to kind of ruffle your burlap. I probably could have ruffled my burlap a little bit more, but I was getting frustrated because my wire kept coming out. So that's actually good enough. I mean, it's not secured in these spots here, but it doesn't really need to be because all I really want this for is just to be able to attach my flower to it. And I'll go underneath with zip ties, or I might even just glue it. I don't know yet. We'll have to see. Where's my scissors? So that's very easy to do. And that's really how you pretty much make any flower. You attach the canvas to the middle, and it's easy to do. Okay. So, get my flower out of the way, my rose. It's funny how Hobby Lobby calls this white. You probably really can't tell because my overhead light is so bright, but it really is more of a cream color. Poly burlap comes in white. I don't know if I have any poly burlap here. I don't know if the faux burlap fabric comes in white, but this is close enough. So I have a bunch of these, and I have some white pipe cleaners. And you can cut those in half. If you don't have white, I mean, it's recommended that you have white because then they won't show. Just cut them in half. You're not going to need the whole pipe cleaner. Now the wreath that we're making, I think it's next month. There's a fabric wreath. It's pretty much using the same method I'm using here, but maybe a little bit different. I'm not even really seeing if these are exactly cut in half. I don't really think it matters that much. Boy, I made pizza for dinner, and I'm going to tell you a funny story. My son wanted pesto pizza, and we have a really good recipe for pesto. We make paninis a lot. We love paninis, and we make paninis with turkey and pesto and cheese, and they're really yummy. But he's like, let's make a pesto pizza. And I just put too much pesto on, and my oven like almost caught on fire because I had all this oil like dripping all over the edges of my dough, and it still smells like smoke in this house. Anyway, live and learn. So I know I talk about stupid stuff during class. I apologize. Here's your square. Just going to take 2 edges, fold them together, and just pinch. Burlap is a little bit thick, but that's okay. Just pinch it together to make your little petal. Okay, we're going to start. I just go ahead and I just give it a twist just to hold it in place. Right in the middle. Make sure it's in the middle. This isn't in the middle. It's going to bother me. Just give it a twist. We're going to start at the crossbar, okay? We're going to start right in this second bar, right here at the crossbar, and attach this. Just like that. Try to get it to go up a little bit if you can. I know it's thick. Burlap is thick, but you can play with it a little bit. And that's how we're going to start at all the crossbars. And then just take your two edges and fold them in and pinch. Let's go to the next one, the next crossbar. This burlap is thick. You kind of want to push it so your petals are going up like that. That's the look that you're going for. Just kind of push them. That's it. You can see I do still have a little bit of a fray here, but I'm going to cut it. I'm not going to pull it. If you didn't treat the edges of your burlap ahead of time, just go ahead and spray your wreath afterwards with a spray adhesive, E6000 spray adhesive, or Elmer's Craft Bond. I've never used fray checks, so I can't comment on how effective that is, but I know that a lot of people use it for fabric to keep it from fraying. Hold on here, where are you going? Probably the most difficult part is just pinching it together because burlap is so thick, but just be patient with it. I'm just giving it one good twist underneath just to hold it together. Where'd you get your burlap from, Cheryl? What's that? I lost you.
Oh, I bought it at Walmart. I should have got it at Hobby Lobby, but I saw Walmart had a bunch of it.
Yeah, but it's probably the same. Is it white or is it like an off-white like mine?
It's whitish.
Yeah, like I said, the girl brought it out and I said, this is more like a cream color. She's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now, if you buy the poly burlap is white. If you get the white, it's actually white. But I think this is going to be pretty. But you can see what I'm kind of doing. I'm sort of like pressing it down. I'm trying to get these pushed up because you don't want them to be like that. You want them to sort of be up. like that. And it's stiff, you know, and I think the fact that I treated the edges with the Mod Podge is helping me to form it a little bit too. So if you just push them up a little bit like that, they'll stay like that. Yeah, Hobby Lobby, I think this was $3.99 a yard. My Walmart doesn't have anything, so I didn't even bother asking. Everybody's posting pictures of this really beautiful, these beautiful colors of rolls of burlap in like pink and lavender. Mine doesn't have any of that. I did get some pretty teal though a couple of weeks ago. Some pretty teal burlap. But you can see that I'm not getting anything coming off at all. These edges, they're a little stiff, but that's okay. That's why you don't really want to, if you're going to do the Mod Podge on the edges, make sure you just do the edges because it does stiffen it. And it just might be a little difficult for you to work with if the whole piece is stiff. You don't want that. You don't want the whole piece of burlap to be so stiff that you can't even work with it. And I actually cut my burlap by hand. I use scissors. You can use a rotary cutter, but the reason why I did it by hand is just because I'm just so fanatical that I actually cut between the lines of the burlap. I think I posted a little a tutorial or a how-to. You can actually take a strand of the burlap and pull it out, one of the strings, and that'll give you a line to cut. But I actually took my time and I did my scissors and I made sure that I cut right in between the lines, and that'll help reduce your fraying too. Just like when you're doing with mesh, when you're cutting with mesh, cut between the lines, whether you're using the wood burning tool or scissors. You can't really control that too much with a rotary cutter, I find. I like my rotary cutter, but you can't really cut between the lines with that because it's too fast. You just zip and then it's done. All right, so here's our first row of petals, okay? Now, what we're gonna do, let me see how I wanna do this now. Do I wanna do another one right below it or go into the middle? I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into the middle. Okay, I'm gonna go into the middle of each section now, and then I'm gonna go back down and do more here. So what we're gonna do, and what I like to do, is take my chenille stem. Do I wanna go around one or do I wanna go around two? I'm gonna go to the second bar here, okay? So here's our crossbars. We put one in each crossbar. You're gonna go into the middle of each crossbar now, into the second bar from the outside, okay? So I think I'm just going to continue the way I was doing it. I'm not going to put my chenille stem on first. I'm just going to attach it to my burlap first. So I had to think about this for a little bit because this flower doesn't have leaves. Like most flowers have a layer of leaves on the outside. This is just petals. That's all it is flower petals. And I'm blurry. Hold on one second. And if you're doing this at home with the video, you can definitely make all your petals ahead of time and then attach them to attach as you go along. So we're going to go in the middle, second bar from the outside. Now, don't worry too much about your petals sliding, because what we're going to do as we add more petals, like down here, we're going to actually twist them together and attach them to the canvas so they don't slide. So your petals won't slide around. So don't worry too much about that. So go to the next middle section here, second bar from the outside. I like to flip it over because I want to make sure it's nice and tight. And then just kind of push it up. This one doesn't look even to me. Hold on, that's going to bother me. I don't have my pipe cleaner right in the center. I want to make sure it's even on both sides here, so let me fix that. Looks like it's really big on one side and it's smaller on the other, and it still does. Hold on a minute here. I apologize. Oh, I'm not a perfectionist, trust me. Right. I definitely am. No, I can't get this off. There we go. Let's just try to do this again and make sure we have it in the center.
So Christine, we're not going to do double petals on each one?
We're going to go back and do, because I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about if I wanted to do double petals. I may go back around again and do another one on top. I want to get these center ones done first.
Okay, thanks.
Double petals. And I'm glad you brought that up because I was definitely thinking about that. But let's just get our centers done here first. Because this burlap is just so much thicker. And I know what you mean about the double petals. I've seen the double petals done with the poly burlap. But this regular burlap is just so thick. I want to make sure this is tight. I definitely have enough burlap, and I plan on using it all. So there's another center piece there. Where'd my camera go? There we go. The next center. Oops. This camera. I think it's time to get a new camera. You know, it looks so white. This burlap looks so white as I'm looking at it on the camera. It is kind of like a cream. It's like an ivory color almost. It's really pretty. And here's the middle. Let's go to this middle one next. Just kind of push it up. My son was saying how he hated the smell of this. I kind of like it. Everyone's always posting, you know, should I wear a mask when I work with burlap? You know, there's all these horror stories of people developing all sorts of respiratory problems. If you are sensitive, if you're asthmatic, you have sensitivities, allergies, I would definitely recommend wearing a mask because these fibers do come loose. You know, the only thing I've ever really noticed, this is uneven, the only thing I've ever really noticed when I've worked with burlap is by the end of the my wreath making with it is my throat's a little bit dry. But I've never, you know, developed any more serious problems than that. I don't work with it all that often. I think since I started classes here, I've made maybe 4 burlap wreaths. And like I said, the only thing I ever really noticed is by the end of the class, my throat's a little bit dry. But I just keep water handy. Make sure that's tight enough. Okay, do we have all of our middles? Okay, we have all of our middles done now. So, do I want to do a double petal? Let me look and see. I'm going to get a drink of water now that I'm talking about my throat getting dry. I feel like I need a drink of water here. Okay. I think what we're going to do now I'm thinking. See, I don't know, Cheryl, this burlap is so thick. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a double petal. I'm going to go right underneath it and see. So I'm going right below the one on the crossbar here, and I'm going to go to that middle section. So that's the crossbar. That's where we put our first petal. I'm going to put another petal right there, and then I'll probably put another petal right there. I'm going to see how that looks. Because what you can do is when you have all 3 of your petals on, in fact, I think I'm going to put all 3 of them on right now. You can then twist your zip ties or your chenille stems together underneath and secure them all together. So I'm going to go right down underneath those 2 and do one more. So there's another bar. So we have one on the outer bar, one on the inner bar, and we're going to go one right here too, if you can see that bar there. One right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 3 pipe cleaners here from the back, and I'm going to twist them all together, just so it looks neater in the back. See that, how I just twisted them all together? Let me fix my camera. I'm so sorry. I twisted them all together in the back. And you can push your petals up. We're going to do that same thing at all the other crossbars, and then we'll go back and then we'll fill in the rest and see where we need more. Whoops. I like to flip it over when I'm twisting it just because I want to get it as tight as I can. I feel like I have more control over my stem, my chenille stem when it's flipped over. But you can see I'm really pulling on this, and I don't have any frays coming off at all from doing the Mod Podge. I mean, there's nothing. And I've worked with burlap before and been snipping and pulling and wanting to scream. So that stuff works really well. I'm very happy with that. I'm so excited about using all my Dollar Tree mesh that I bought for class tomorrow. I'm excited about that. Hey, Pauline, I didn't see you jump on. I just looked up and I saw your name there. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm coming late.
You are? That's okay. I don't really, I see only a certain number of names across the top of the screen, and I just kind of happened to look up and I saw your name there. I was wondering if Walmart had that 2.5-inch burlap, but I had to go back to Hobby Lobby anyway, so I just grabbed it from there.
Oh, yeah, they have it right there on their floral department.
My Walmart doesn't have a really good craft department. They just, like I said, I was seeing people post all these pictures of these gorgeous colored rolls of burlap, and mine just doesn't have anything. They stink.
Yeah, mine doesn't either.
Like I said, I did get some pretty teal the other day. I'm gonna do something with that. Maybe I'll make a beach wreath out of that. I love your wreaths, Pauline. I have to tell you, every time you post in the other group, I just love your stuff.
And I just learned. I literally just learned over watching somebody's videos and stuff.
Really? Are you the one that just made the carrot? The carrot
Yes.
out of the form from the 99-cent store?
Yes, that was me.
That was so cute.
Yeah, I posted it to my friends. Like, I posted it on my page first, and I got a coworker of mine to buy it. And I was like, I haven't even thought about how much it's going to cost me.
Oh, I know. That was really cute. So again, we're putting 3 petals on each crossbar, all the way down, 1, 2, 3. And I'm taking all the chenille stems, I'm just kind of twisting them all together, just to make the back a little bit neater too. And then it keeps them from sliding also. You can see I'm kind of just going around and pushing my petals up, because that's the desired position. That's what looks nice. Just have them all pushed up. Like that. I can't get over how white these petals look as I'm looking up at my video. Like, wait a second, they're cream colored. How's it going, Cheryl? Hate to keep calling on you. I know you're trying to work.
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to decide. You did on one post on the outside ring, center on the second ring, and then one on the post on the second ring.
Okay, so I'm doing 3 petals on the crossbar. I did the second ring, the middle section, and then it's not even on the ring. On the middle section, I kind of attached it to the middle part. You see that there?
Yeah.
On the crossbar, I didn't really attach it to the ring. I attached it to this bar. See how you have 3 sections here, 1, 2, 3?
Dang it.
So I'm doing 3 down each crossbar, and I only did 1 in the middle and the second bar so far. We're going to do probably 2 more there too.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because I just, and I know what method you're talking about. I've seen the sunflower wreaths made with double petals, but this burlap is just so thick. I don't think it would work. I think it would just be too bunched up and it wouldn't lay right. So that's my concern. I just want to make sure that they look nice and that they lay right. That's how you want it to look. You want it to kind of be going up like that. So you can even shape it before you attach it if you want to. So here's my 3rd one on the crossbar. I'll take all my pipe cleaners and just kind of twist them all together. It looks a little bit neater, the back. I'm just so happy. I'm really pulling on this stuff and nothing's coming out. That's making me very happy. I was a little frustrated with my deco mesh flower. No, I spoke too soon. I have one piece coming off here. I was really happy, not happy with my deco mesh flower because it just, even after I put it together, it was still fraying, and I used the wood burning tool. And I think really the problem with that is I bought the ombre mesh from Walmart. And if anybody's ever worked with the ombre mesh from Walmart, it's so pretty, but it's not very good quality. And even though I cut it with the wood burning tool, it still really frayed. So I think the next time I make one of those flowers, I'm just going to stick with the 10-inch mesh, because you don't have as many cuts. You don't have to cut it down the middle to get your 10-inch pieces as you do with the 21-inch mesh. So I think that's what I'm going to do next time I make a flower with the deco mesh. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen, most of you have probably seen my poinsettia that I made last year. I used Dollar Tree red mesh for that, and I cut it with my wood burning tool, and it did not fray. So, I mean, it really just depends. Like, I don't have very good luck with Hobby Lobby mesh. That frays like crazy for me. Everybody always knocks Dollar Tree mesh. I've never had an issue with it, ever. I mean, if you're going to cut it with scissors, you're going to have an issue. Like my wreath tomorrow, the spiral, I'm cutting it with the wood burning tool, and it won't fray. But you're making spirals too, and if you make your spirals nice and tight, it's not tight enough for 1 second. If you make your spirals nice and tight, you know, you're going to hide those cut ends. You're not going to have to worry about any frays. That's the nice thing about the spiral method. If you're going to hang this outside, I would recommend spraying it with a some sort of a Rust-Oleum. I think there's a Rust-Oleum product that you can spray, a clear acrylic spray, because burlap will sag if it gets wet. So unless you're hanging it on a covered porch outside, I would recommend, if you're afraid it's going to get wet, to spray it with some sort of an acrylic sealer. Like I said, Rust-Oleum does make a really good product. I would try not to let it get wet, though. It's just sort of asking for trouble. And of course, not that you'd have to really worry about this color, but burlap does fade in sunlight too. So if you wanted to make this flower using pink or, you know, a rose color or blue, there's products that you can buy to spray that keep from fading as well, because it does fade in sunlight. It doesn't take very long either to fade in direct sunlight. And I'd hate to have you make a big, you know, a really pretty flower and sell it to a customer, or even keep it for yourself, or give it to a family member or a friend, and then, you know, have them hang it on their porch and then have fraying. So that's definitely something you want to try to keep in mind too when you're working with colored burlap. I'm just trying to push my petals up because I want them all to be going up. But that's filling in nice. Teresa, did I tell you how glad I am that you're here tonight? You haven't been in one of my classes in a while. I missed you. I don't know if she can hear me. All right, I think we already went down. Yeah, I think we've got all, oh no, wait a minute, I've got one more here to do. I'm sorry. One more on the bottom here. We're going to put some more in the middle. And it just looks a lot neater when you take all of your pipe cleaners in the back here and you twist them all together. And then if you're going to be giving this as a gift, or if you're going to hang it on your door and you're afraid it's going to get scratched, just get a nice piece of felt and just glue it over all of your stuff here. And that'll make it look nice and neat in the back. Okay. Now, I'm going to put some more petals in the middle here. I'm trying to think for a second. Where's my rose? I'm going to see something here. Yeah, that's going to fit really nice in the middle. Look at that. But we're not even done yet. We need to add more petals. So what I'm going to do is, so far we just have one petal in the middle of each section. And I think I put it in the second to the outside bar, if you can see that. The second. So we're just going to do one more here in the middle, one more here, and one more here, right next to the canvas. We're going to get this all nice and filled in. Fluff our petals out. And we're doing really good. It's only 9 o'clock Eastern time anyway, if anybody's in a different time zone. You're in Illinois, Cheryl, right? I don't know why I always thought you were in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'm in Illinois, Central Time.
You're Central Time? For the longest time, I swear, I thought you were in Pennsylvania. I don't know why. Unless it's Pam that's in Pennsylvania. I can't remember. I'm terrible. Pam, did you get, or Cheryl, did you get nice and tan on your vacation to Mexico?
Nope, 30 block the entire time. I know my skin, it burns easy.
I was going to say.
Yes. My daughter, on the other hand, got secondary burns, so.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Is she okay? Poor thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's okay. She was in pain for the last 4 days of the vacation, but she was in pain.
See, my kids, their dad was Sicilian, Italian. So my son is more fair-skinned like me, but my daughters have that nice olive skin, and so they never burn. They get nice and brown in the winter and the summer. I burn at first, but then I tan. So we're in the middle. I'm going to go down to, I think what I'm going to do is, since we're in the middle, okay, and I did one on the second to the outside bar and then the second to the inside bar, when I go on the inside bar here, if you can see that, I'm going to take one of my chenille stems and go right through the plastic canvas. So one of them is going to go around this bar and one of them is going to go through the plastic canvas to secure it. And I hope that makes sense. One through the canvas, one of the holes in the canvas that we attached, and the other one around the last bar there. So maybe you can see it a little bit better here. I have one going through the canvas and one going around this bar, and then we're just going to twist it together. And then we can do like we did at the crossbar and take all three of these that we've placed and twist them all together. Just like that. This is a really stiff piece. I think I put too much Mod Podge on this one. This is one I first started putting it on, and I kind of got it over more than just the edges, but it's okay. What I'm finding is that it's making it easier for me to shape it because it's a little stiff. So that might not be a bad thing. Okay. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? Makes me want spring to come, like now. I'm so jealous of everybody that lives down south, and they're telling me that things are blooming and I see green grass, and I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for that in upstate New York. All right, so where are we now? That's our crossbar. Let's find our other center right here. You're going to find it maybe a little more challenging for you to place these as it gets fuller, but that's okay. So really, in a nutshell, all you're doing is you're putting 3 petals down on each crossbar, and then you're putting 3 petals down in the middle of each section. Very easy. You can see how nice and neat that looks when you twist all these together. I'm going to have some extra burlap left over. I always buy more than I think I'm going to need. It's always good to have more than not enough. So I was going to tell you guys, if you're taking my class tomorrow with the spiral with the Dollar Tree mesh, if you don't have Dollar Tree mesh, just go to Hobby Lobby and get the 5.5 inch. That's only a little bit shorter than the Dollar Tree mesh. Dollar Tree mesh is, where did I end off here? Hold on. Here we are. Dollar Tree mesh is 6 inches wide. So I just happened to kind of hit the jackpot one day, and I got a bunch of the mesh from Dollar Tree. They're pretty 3-color. I'm going to use this tri-color Easter mesh that I bought. But you can definitely, if you want to do a mixture like what's in the picture that I showed, and do a mixture of like lavender and blue and pink, that would be really pretty too. But I like doing the spirals with the shorter mesh because it's just a really good method to use for the shorter width mesh. This piece doesn't want to stay up here. So I'm going to push it down. Get some weight on it and push your petals down. Again, you can use fabric for this method. I'm doing a fabric wreath next month. I think what I'm going to do with that, though, because fabric definitely is not as stiff as burlap, you can actually spray the whole piece of fabric to stiffen it. And I can't remember the name of the product that I used to spray it with. I'll have to get back to you on that. So we're still doing our pieces in the middle here. And I'm just sort of playing with it as I go along. You don't have to do this now. You can do it once you get all of your petals on, just to make sure that it's all, you know, looks the way you want it to look. Here's another piece coming off. I'm going to cut that. I don't want to pull it. I've had basically no frays at all. A couple here and there. If you have a little paintbrush and you want to paint your Mod Podge on, or even maybe use a Q-tip, just get the very edges. That's all you need to do. Let's see where we're at here. That one's already on there. Here we go, another middle section. Kind of have to dig to find them now because this thing is getting so full. If you end up having extra pieces of burlap left, and you want to go around and add more petals here and there where you think you may need more petals, you can definitely do that. I might even do that if I find that I have some extra left over, because I don't like to have extras. And if I see an opportunity to fill in where I think it needs to be filled in, then I'm going to do that. I think we have one more middle section to go, and then we'll see how we look and if we want to add any more petals anywhere. If you felt like you wanted to add some green on the outside for leaves, you could do that. What you would do is instead of doing all white on the outside crossbar, you would just do a row of green, like how we started with the white on the outside. You could do a row of green petals if you wanted. There, let me fix my blurriness there. I see like a gap in my, what is this gap here? Yeah, because we need to add more petals there. That's why I see a gap. I see a gap. Oh no, I can't have a gap. Nobody wants to see their wreath form. That's a no-no. That is a no-no. That's kind of why I don't think I like the poof method very much, because I can never seem to cover my wreath form sufficiently with the poof. But I did see a method the other day. Someone posted, and they did a poof with 21-inch mesh, but they did 6 poofs. Oops, I'm blurry again. Hold on. They did 6 poofs per section. So you have your wreath section. I mean, obviously, depending on what size wreath form you have your wreath section here. This is one section. She did, I think she had a 14-inch form though. She did 6, I think they were still 10-inch poofs, but she did 6 of them per section, and she squished them together. So they were really tight poofs, and boy, did that look nice. Those are the kind of poofs I like. Nice, tight, squished together poofs. So I might do that, because I really liked it. She got a lot of comments on her wreath too, boy. They're like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. How did you do that? This is my last petal for the middle section there, and then we're going to kind of take a look and see if we want to fill in anywhere, because I do have extra petals here, or extra burlap, I should say. I've probably got about 20 more pieces over there. Do you have enough burlap, Cheryl?
Yeah, I have plenty. I just didn't cut enough squares. I didn't cut it all up, so I have to cut more.
How much burlap did you buy?
The 2.5 yards you suggested in the
Yeah, and
material
I
list.
have some left over too, but like I said, it's always good to have more than not enough. Now, let me see what I want to do here. This looks pretty full to me, but I need to kind of look at it and see. I'm going to put my center in. Look how perfectly that fits there. But I got to kind of look at it. What do you think? Do you think I need more petals anywhere, you guys? Be honest. It's kind of hard for me to tell when I'm looking at my laptop if I need any more anywhere. Usually when I'm done with class and I have it hanging on my wall is when I say, oh my gosh, I need to put some more here. I need to put some more ribbon there. You think it needs more petals? Anybody? Going once, going twice? Cheryl? Nobody wants to talk to me.
I think it looks great. I think there's no need for more petals. It looks full.
You sure?
Yeah, it looks full. Look at it. Hold it away from you. Pick it up and hold it away
I know,
from you.
I'm looking at it actually in my laptop as I'm. I think it looks nice. And this, look at this center. It fits perfectly. Nobody else wants to say anything. Everybody else is afraid to talk. They're like, boy, that flower is ugly, but we don't want to tell her that. Anybody? Nobody knows how to unmute themselves. Maybe that's why. Or they all went to sleep. All right, I think I'm gonna leave that like that. I think they came out really nice, but I'm gonna show you how I wanna attach my center. I have a pipe cleaner left. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my zip ties, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up through my, you can glue it if you want, but I think I'm just gonna zip tie it. I'm gonna go up through my plastic canvas. I don't want to squish my center, so hold on a second here. Maybe I'll push the zip ties through. How do I want to do this? I'm just going to take a zip tie and go through the bottom of it, because this is very light. You're not going to need a lot to secure it. I'm just going to take one corner of it like that. I'll do it on either side. I can find some holes here. Hold on. There we go. I'm just going to go down through my, now wait a minute, that's not going to work like that. Hold on. I have to do it this way. I have to try to grab it this way. I have to go through this way with my zip tie. Actually, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm just going to go right through the bar. You guys are going to kill me here. I didn't really think this out. I thought it would be easier than I thought. You know what might work? Instead of zip ties, I have an idea. I'm going to use some floral wire. I think that's what's going to do it. A nice piece of floral wire on each side. I'm going to feed that right through my canvas. Oops. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So go to the underside of your flower. Just feed your floral wire through. Make sure you catch enough of it. And go through a couple of layers of my burlap here. Just like that. Do one on either side. If you want to try to glue it, you could glue it. And I'm just going to feed these wires right through the plastic canvas. Yeah, this is going to work a lot better. And then once I get them fed through, then I'll flip it over and I'll tighten it. It's not going to take a lot to hold it because it's light. It's not heavy. I just need to make sure that it's centered. Look at that. That's all it took. I'm going to kind of lift these petals up in the middle a little bit. Actually, what I think I might do, I might even add some more petals, stick some more petals in around my center. I can kind of see, oh, you know what, there's not really a gap. I'll just push my rose down a little bit. I just don't want to see any gaps at all. I actually see a gap right there. I might push a petal right in there. Oops, I'm blurry. Sorry about that. If you find that after you put your center in, you see a gap, which I see right here, I can see my plastic canvas, just go ahead and throw another petal in there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the pipe cleaner through the canvas. Just because I don't want to see any gaps. I'm going to go right in that spot. I'm going to go right through my plastic canvas. Whoops. This is coming off. Get this stuff out of here. And pull it right through the canvas. I can find my other, here it is. Come on. When you're working blind here and you can't really see where you're pushing it, this sometimes happens. Push up my flower. Just because I'm trying to fill in that little gap that I saw. That was really the only little spot that I saw that looked a little empty. I don't know why that happened, but it happens and you can fix it and all is good. And that's that. I'm really happy with the way that rose came out. I wasn't too sure if I was going to like that. All right, you guys. Well, this is a half class. Oh, and my thing came unplugged. All sorts of technical difficulties, huh? Whoops. Again, if you didn't use anything to treat your burlap, the edges, if you want to go ahead and spray, you can use some E6000 spray after you get your wreath together. Spray it. I like E6000 because it doesn't smell as much as some of the other sprays. You can use that on deco mesh, you can use it on burlap. But there we go. There's our wreath. I thank you guys for hanging out with me. Does anybody have any questions at all? Or I may play with it a little bit more. I may add some more petals. I don't know. I may keep it the way it is. Cheryl, you got to post a picture of yours when it's done. Everybody, when you make it, I want to see pictures. Okay? Boy, you guys are really chatty tonight. I think everybody fell asleep. All right, you guys. Huh?
Yeah, I'll do it when I get mine done. I have to do my center still.
Okay. Let me know if you need any help.
Okay, thanks.
Have a great night, you guys.
Great class. I love it. It looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.